What's up, Node.js developers? Welcome back to a new live stream. In November 2022, OpenAI launched a new conversational AI model called Chat GPT, and the internet blew out. Everyone was talking about it, but it was for a good reason. I went deep into the rabbit hole of what else can Chat GPT answer, and it was truly amazing, the possibilities and the answers that this AI model is giving. From preparing meals, from recommending business ideas, complete business plans, to recommending even writing blog posts and answering coding questions. It can do everything. So after messing around for a couple of hours with it, I decided that it's time to get our hands dirty and start using ChatGPT in a full stack application because that's the best way we can learn something new. So that's why today we're going to build a chat application, an application with ChatGPT, with React Native and Next.js. This is going to be a cross-platform application both for web and for mobile, because I want to show you how we can use this ChatGPT in our projects. So the plan for today. The plan for today is to start by building a web application. And the application that we're going to build, I decided that it's going to be a Christmas gift generator, because Christmas is coming and I myself struggle thinking about ideas of gifts for my family and friends. And this is going to be a tool that it's going to be useful for me as well. And I think that other people will be able to use it as well. But nonetheless, this is an educational project, and I will treat it as so, where we'll have step-by-step guides in order for you to also be able to build this application together with me. For the web application, we're going to use Next.js, which is based on React.js. And if you're building React Native applications, you will manage to follow along this build, because it will really be very simple to work with Next.js, and we will not have to mess up with it a lot. After that, we will deploy the application so that it will be accessible by anywhere. For that, we're going to use Vercel, and it's super simple to deploy Next.js application on Vercel. After that is done, we will have a web and also our API that can generate Christmas gifts, and it will be time to build the mobile application. For that, we're going to use React Native with Expo, because that's the easiest and the best way to build mobile applications. And because our web application is React.js, we're going to be able to reuse a lot of code in our React Native application. We're going to manage to build all of these applications today in this live stream. And I think that the live stream is going to be around 2 hours. Let's see by the end how long it will be. But what I can promise is that you're definitely going to learn something new, and you will get excited about this ChatGPT, because it's mind-blowing what it can do. And hopefully you will think about some ideas and build some projects with it on the side. Stay tuned till the end. I'm gonna give you some ideas of how you could use ChatGPT in your application to start like a startup, or to start a side project that will use that and provide some value. So we're gonna discuss about these ideas at the end, because I couldn't stop thinking these days about what else can you build with it, how can you do it, because it's so general and broad and it can do everything. The problem is finding the right approach how to use it. All right, so before we go into the coding stuff, which will happen in a couple of minutes, let's first of all cover what's ChatGPT and how we got here. So when talking about ChatGPT, we should definitely start by mentioning about the OpenAI company, which works on a lot of exciting models. I'm pretty sure you saw the result of their models out there in the internet. So for example, one very popular is the Daily 2 model that can generate images, and you definitely saw some of these images on the internet. It was fully created by an AI. When you think about it, damn, like what era we are living in. These are regarding the images. However, there is another part of artificial intelligence which has to do with understanding languages. And that part is called natural language processing, or short NLP. These AI models, their goal is to basically understand text, to be able to understand the meaning in the text, to summarize it, and do a lot of other processing on that text. This is very important because we have a lot of information, a lot of data out there on the internet as a text format, and the data grows exponentially. So we need these kind of algorithms in order to be able to process it and to make sense of all of the data. So OpenAI a couple of years back introduced GPT-2 algorithm that was an NLP model, and after a couple of iterations they launched GPT-3 model that was based on the previous version, but it included way more parameters when the model was trained. So more parameters means that the algorithm will be more general and will be able to answer more broad questions. And GPT now evolved into Chat GPT. Chat GPT is based on the GPT-3 algorithm, which was fine-tuned for this specific use case. And to explain what it is, I will just show you. It's a conversational API model. It's a conversational AI model that basically you can ask something and it can give you a response back. And the question that you can ask literally can be anything. So it can range from explain quantum computing in simple terms, and ChatGPT will explain you very simply this, to creating a meal plan for a week for a specific number of calories and also to be keto, and then it goes ahead and does everything for you. I also went ahead and tried some coding questions. So you simply ask how to render a list of posts in React Native, and then you get the introduction to flat list, some examples of how you can use flat list with code that actually works, and also down below some explanation. Crazy. When I saw this, it's really powerful. I was speechless. For the last couple of days, we within the team, we're sending all of these screenshots that we are asking, and seeing the potential of this model. So if you are like this at the moment, I understand you, and I hope that I made you interested in this model, and now we can go ahead and start using it into an application. I think that this is the moment where a lot of people are having some troubles, okay, I understand the model, I understand what it does, but how can I use it actually to build an application? How can I put it into a React Native application or a Next.js application? So that's what we're gonna do today. And if you're new here on the channel, hi, my name is Vadim, and I'm sharing my experience and my knowledge that I accumulated over the last years working in different companies as a software engineer. And now, I'm doing that here on YouTube, sharing my experience. So if you enjoy what we're doing at notjust.dev, make sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure to turn on the notification bell not to miss any future videos, and make sure to not be part of the 97.8% of people that are watching the tutorials and have not subscribed. This takes only 2 seconds, and if you can do it now, I will be very much I will be very happy, and I will appreciate that. And with that being said, I think we can get started with our applications. What do you say? Hi everyone in the live chat. How are you doing today, guys? Are you excited about ChatGPT, or is it only me? Because yeah, from the time like that I discovered it, like I was constantly asking it like something. Have you played with it? All right. So let me know what is your opinion about ChatGPT, if you have played with it, and yeah, like how do you feel about it? Will it replace our jobs as developers? Interesting. I don't know. But while you are saying hi in the chat and also saying where are you joining us from today, I'm gonna go ahead and explain you how you can follow along today's build. So I always encourage to actually build the applications that I'm doing here together with me, because that's gonna be the best way to that you can accumulate knowledge, basically learn it. Yeah. So to do that, I prepared for you a step-by-step guide that will help you along the way, and you can access it at this URL. I also, you can find it in the description below. So let me open it up, and there we have like all the steps that we have to take to build our two applications, the mobile one and the web applications. So I'm gonna put it like this, and we can, yeah, the first step when you get on this page, make sure to download the asset bundle. This directory will include the PDF guide, the dummy data, images, and all other information that you will need to make your journey easier to build this project, in order not to have to write all of this. And also I included there all the source code, so if something is not working for you, you can easily compare with our application that we are building. So make sure to download it here, and we are at the getting started with Chat GPT. All right, so hi from India, hello Argentina, hello guys, hello David. Mind blown by ChatGPT. I want to replace it with my girlfriend. Yeah, it feels like a human behind the screen. Let's go, John. Hello. I just had this idea like a couple of days ago, and now I'm very amazed to see a new tutorial on it. Yes, we are reading minds. Okay, guys, so let's hope that the OpenAI API is not gonna give us any troubles, because these days we are having a lot of load. So yeah, let's give it a try. If we're gonna have some issues at the moment, later when you see this video, I think they should have, yeah, like the API should work fine. At the moment, it's very loaded, and sometimes it gives some errors. Not errors, but yeah, like throttling. So let's start by logging in or creating a new account with OpenAI, and I left a URL here, and that will go here. I'm gonna go ahead and continue with Google. And here we have it. Here we have a dashboard of OpenAI. This is not only about Chat API, it's the set of all the models, or all the AI models that OpenAI is building, including the daily for images and others as well. Here at the top, we see introducing to ChatGPT research release. You can press try it out, and that will open a window where we can interact directly with it. So for example, let's ask him something. What should we ask? Let me know. No, let's see. React Native versus Flutter. We will wait for a couple of seconds until it thinks. These days, yeah, it takes a bit of time. And right away, it gives you information about React Native, Flutter, and so on. What are we doing today? Today, we're going to build a Christmas gift generator. So, for example, we're going to ask ChatGPT a question like this. Suggest or recommend free Christmas gift ideas. Christmas, come on. I should reset it. It was. And let's see. We're going to use ChatGPT for that. We're going to ask gift recommendations, and then we're going to display it in our application. But it's not going to be that easy. We're going to add a lot of parameters to make the recommendation personalized, not that general. For example, this is very general gift ideas. But if I'm going to add more details, like recommend free Christmas gift ideas for, I don't know, 24-year-old woman. That will understand the context, will understand everything, and will recommend like specifically with those parameters. Isaac, hello, much love from Sierra Leone. Hello. Network error. Yeah, like the API is having troubles serving. In the first 5 days, they had over 1 million users using ChatGPT. So yeah, you can understand like in the first days of the release, like their API will struggle. But that's a good thing for a technology. So yeah, I'm gonna stop here. Go ahead and play with this chat, and go crazy, go wild, and ask different kind of questions, ask random questions, and you will see like what it is capable of. I'm gonna stop here with experimenting here because we will build the application. So yeah, the next step will be to open up the quick start documentation of OpenAI. And here they have a very good documentation. You can have it open side by side to make sure that nothing is updated. And also I recommend going through this quick start. They have like very prompts that teach you interactively. And at the end, like we also build an application. I have summarized all the steps that we need to get started and build this application from the OpenAI Quick Start, and I have summarized it here. So let's go ahead and start by cloning the Quick Start application. And for that, we're gonna clone the git clone. We're gonna copy the git clone command, and let's open up a terminal. I'm going to do it like this, so you can see it. 1 second, let me just create. Okay, clear. Navigate to a folder of your choice where you keep your projects, and here let's go ahead and paste the command to clone the OpenAI Quick Start Node application. Okay, that is done, and now we can open it up inside Visual Studio Code, or in any other editor of your choice. Let me open it here. Let me zoom in. And from our terminal, from our VS Code, let's go ahead and open a terminal. You can do that at the top, going to Terminal, New Terminal, or by pressing the shortcut command and then backtick. So from here, we will start by installing the dependencies. So let's go ahead and run npm install. This project doesn't have a lot of dependencies. So if you open package.json, you'll see it has only the next, which is Next.js. It has the OpenAI, which is the Node.js library that gives us access to OpenAI models and also React and React DOM. So it's a very simple minimalistic application that will not confuse you. After our npm install is done, let's go ahead and run our application. So we will do npm start or npm run dev to run it in development mode. We should see ready, and we should see started server on this port. Let's go ahead and press on the localhost, or in browser go to localhost port 3000, and that should open our first Chat GPT application. This is a name generator, so by providing the name of the animal, our application will generate dog names. So if I press generate names, nothing happens because there is one more step. There is a step of providing our API key, so OpenAI knows, authenticates us. For that, we have to provide an environment variable. There is a .env.example file in the root of our project. Let's go ahead and copy this file and rename it to simply .env. .env without anything. The .env file serves as the environment, and here we have an OpenAPI key. What we have to do is we have to go back either in the documentation. If you're following the documentation from OpenAI, when you get to adding your API key, here you will see a button create new secret key. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new secret key here, and I'm going to paste it in our .env. If you're not following the documentation, you can also go to your account and you can go view API keys. From here, you can press the same button, create a new secret key to generate a secret key for your project. So now that I have a secret key, I'm going to go ahead and restart the server to use the new variables. So first of all, stop the server by pressing Ctrl+C, and then let's run npm run dev once again. All right. So where are we? Okay, let's go ahead and restart, reload our localhost port 3000, and let's try again generating names for the dogs. And here we have it, the amazing dog, the dog wonder, the incredible dog. What about a name for a cat? Generate names. Captain Sharpclaw, Agent Fluffball, and so on. For a fish, anything you can input here, and ChatGPT will generate names for us. I guess you're not supposed to expose your secret. Don't worry, I'm going to delete that secret after the live stream is finished. But yeah, that's a good tip. Never expose or never show your API keys. And that's, on this topic, that's another important thing to understand how we are using OpenAI. But I'm gonna explain that after a couple of steps in order to show you a bit of code to see how it works, and then I'm gonna show you how to keep your API key secure. Are you guys following along? Are you trying yourself? And do you manage to are you finished with the pet name generator? Because this is our first step. The next step is to go ahead and build our Christmas gift generator. Christmas gift generator. What I want to do now is before getting into the Christmas generator, I want to show you a little bit about the application, the Next.js application that we have here. So, where do we start? The way Next.js works is that there is a folder called pages, and this folder contains files that are mapped to web pages. So in this case, because we have a index.js, this index.js will be rendered when we access the root of our website. Or if we have here index, that's no, it's not gonna do it. But yeah, like the index is our root. So let's have a look at what do we have here in the index. So what do we have? I'm gonna look at what do we render. So what we see, there is the image with a dog icon. Then there is our form that has one input, the input of the animal. And we have a submit button that will submit the form. Now let's follow the onSubmit function. And this function is defined here, and what it does, it simply uses the fetch to fetch the data from our API. It fetches the URL API/generate. It sends a post request, and it specifies the animal inside the body of the request. After that, it gets the data, it sets in the state as a result, and when we have a result, it is displayed down below of a form. Now, where did we get this API generate? How are we fetching, and what we are fetching here? Well, if we open our pages, one of the folders here is the API. The API folder is inside the pages, is a very specific folder, and the files inside this folder are not treated as pages, they are treated as API endpoints. And by having API and the generate file, what we can do is we can do get request at the API/generate, and at the moment it will give us an error because we have to send some data here, and we're gonna see in a moment how we can test directly this API endpoint. But yeah, this is the most important part that I want you to understand. Like in the API, this is the generate.js file is an API endpoint, and that means that this code will be executed on the server side as a normal like Node.js API. And all the communication with our open API is happening in this generate.js because our connection with open API should happen on the backend side, on the server side. So what do we have here? Let's look through the code in the generate.js, because this is where we interact with open AI API. So we first of all import our library, and we define the configuration. Using the configuration, we create our API client. We specify the API key to know, what is to authenticate ourselves. And what we are doing is we are exporting a function that will receive a request and will send a response. In this function that will generate pet names, what we are doing is we are using a create completion call to the API, and basically we're saying, like, based on this prompt, give me some recommendations, give me a completion. And here I want to stop just for a bit to show you how ChatGPT works from a high-level perspective. It's quite simple to understand because there are not a lot of terms and not a lot of things. There are two basic concepts to understand of how to interact with ChatGPT. The first one is a prompt. A prompt is basically a sentence, something that we are sending, something that we are asking. Then by sending this prompt to the ChatGPT, it gives us a completion. It basically understands the context, understands what we want from him, and completes our text. So there are two things, a prompt and a completion. That's why here what we are doing is we are creating a completion using a prompt, using the animal type that we provided for the body. Yes, we are doing some processing on this prompt in order to have the desired outcome, to provide enough context. So we see that by providing an animal here, what we are doing is we are asking ChatGPT to suggest 3 names for an animal that is a superhero. Here we are also giving him some examples. Examples are very good in order to show ChatGPT what you expect as an answer. So whenever possible, use examples of what do you expect from it for a different kind of parameters. And after that, you say, okay, if animal is cat, that would be some good names. If animal is dog, that would be some good names. But if animal is the one that the user chose, what would be the name? That's why we have here names, double dots, and ChatGPT will try to complete this text, matching like the same structure. Does it make sense so far? Yuvraj is asking me, hi, what is the update on the hackathon winner prize? We sent an email to all the winners and we are expecting the answer for everyone and then to group everything together and to send to the sponsors. And you should receive the prize next week. Next week is our deadline. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, back to our project. So we have here our name pad generator. And as I was saying, let me also show you how we can use curl to query our API. Now that we are running our Next.js application, Next.js is both responsible for the front end inside like the pages index, for example, for the client side, and also for the server side inside the API.generate. So for that reason, we can use curl to send a post request. You can copy this command from the guide here. I have it. So we can, we can use curl to post localhost at port 3000/API/generate. We're providing some headers specifying that the content type is JSON and also the data with animal dog. And if I do a curl request there, we will see the result: amazing spider dog, incredible Hulk, and X dog. Perfect. That means that we have both a web application at the moment and an API. Let's go ahead and do what? To get, we didn't change much. Git. Come on. Now, yeah. So that was the quick start from OpenAI. I think it covers quite well how you can use it with Next.js. But we want to take it to the next level. We want it to have both Next.js and a mobile application. So, and also, let's see how we can build a Christmas gift generator. We're going to build a little bit more complex application to see how we can use multiple parameters and feed them to the prompt that we are sending to ChatGPT in order to get the best completions and the best answers from it. Yuvraj, write me an email at support@notjust.dev and I'm gonna get back to you. I will also note it down. All right. So for the Christmas gift generator, we're gonna use the next prompt. So let's copy it, and I will try to put it in the chat here. And this is saying, suggest free Christmas gift ideas between 50, too many requests. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, I'm asking it to suggest free Christmas gift ideas between $50 and $100 for a 30-year-old man that is into golfing, business, and traveling. And as you can see, I have added some context to this query in order to get results as close to reality as possible, or as helpful as possible. And as you can see, it's already something related to the hobbies that the person has, to the age, and also make sure it's between this price range. So how helpful is this? Like right away, we see some great ideas for a person that we just described. So as you can see, what parameters do we have? We have the price range, we have the age of the person, we have the gender, and we also have some hobbies. Perfect. This will be the parameters that will change, the dynamic parameters that will change with every request, basically. All right. So let's go ahead and do the query that will generate our gift ideas. For that, we can either edit the pet name generator, or let me show you how we can add a new API endpoint. So as I was saying, like all the files in the API folder, they are considered and they are mapped to an endpoint. So if I go ahead and create a new file here called generate_gifts.js, and for the logic of this file, let's go ahead and get the inspiration from here, from the generate. I'm gonna copy it here, and what will we do? So starting from the generate prompt, our prompt, as I said, is going to have a couple of parameters. I said that we have the price range. So for that, we will have price mean, price maximum. What else we will have? We will have a gender of a person, we will have an age, and the hobbies. These are the 5 parameters of our prompt. Now, we don't need the capitalized animals. We will simply return. Let's go ahead and grab our prompt, the suggest Christmas ideas, and in the return statement, I will simply put it there. Now we're gonna go ahead and replace the static values with our parameters that we will receive in the generate prompt function. For example, instead of 50 here, leave the dollars there, we're gonna put $sign and curly brackets to access a variable, a JavaScript variable, and we're gonna get the price minimum here. So this will replace with the actual price that we are sending in our prompt. We're gonna do the same with the 100 here. I'm gonna replace it with the price max. For 30, that's gonna be our age. For man, that's gonna be our gender. And lastly, instead of traveling, business, and golfing, I'm gonna put the hobbies here, just like that. Can I split it into 2 lines? Hopefully that will work, or I will leave it in 1 line, I don't know. Okay, so now we have a generate prompt. The generate prompt is called inside the function that is responsible for our request, basically the function that will handle our request. So when we call the generate prompt here, we need to send all of these parameters: price min, price max, gender, age, and hobbies. Instead of always getting them from the body, I'm gonna go ahead and destructure all of these parameters from request.body. And I'm gonna simply copy the list of parameters. I'm gonna copy them from here and paste them where we destructure. Now, what we're doing here, we're basically taking the request.body.priceMin, request.body.priceMax, and so on, and we can use them to send to the generate prompt. Make sure to follow the same order, or simply we can copy them from here and paste them here. Now we're gonna call the generate prompt using these parameters that are coming from our request.body. In order to make sure that your prompt is correct, we can also go ahead and do console log. Let's save it into the prompt, into a variable prompt like this. Let's console log it first, and then we're gonna send it to our create completion as prompt like this. And let's go ahead and also maybe console log them, but we will see the result. We will see, because we are sending it as a result to the query. Okay, now with this code that we have done here, we can go ahead and copy where is it? We generated the API endpoint. Here you will find on the code that you will need for these functions. And yes, I was looking for the curl command to test our generate gifts endpoint. So let's copy it from here, not to have to write it from scratch. Come on. What's going on? And I'm gonna paste it here. So what I'm doing here is the same way as I was testing the previous endpoint for generating dog names or pet names. Now I'm querying the generate gifts API endpoint, because that's how our file is called. If your file is called a bit differently, then make sure to update the URL that you are querying. And what we're doing is we are providing this data with a price minimum, price maximum for a woman of age 23 with these hobbies: drawing, traveling, and coding. Let's press enter and hope that we don't have any errors. Result: N1, a travel sketchbook, and a pencil set. The problem is that it stops at N2, like the second one. Why is that? That's because by default, the number of tokens, which relates to, the number of tokens that it returns is limited. So we can adjust it by using max tokens, and we can provide, for example, maximum, basically 2048 tokens. So now if I'm gonna do the same request, I should see like a more, a bigger result, like more tokens. So we see Wacom Cintiq 13 HD interactive pen display, because I said it's into drawing. Then number 2, I don't know where it is, but number 3 is here, coding for dummies. This is a great gift for anyone who is into coding. It's a great way to learn the basics of coding, and it's a great resource for anyone who wants to learn about coding. Awesome. So that means that our prompt, we designed the prompt correctly, and based on a list of options and parameters, we are getting some results back. That's amazing, because that's the first step that we have to take. What else? Let me take a short break and explain you with these tokens. The tokens, like simply put, if I can show you here, tokens. The tokens are parts of words. They are not complete words because usually more complex words, they are split into multiple tokens. For example, butterscotch is split into but, ters, cot, and ch, and so on. So yeah, usually by so don't confuse number of tokens with number of words, because words will always be a bit more than tokens. No, tokens will be more than words because some words are composed of multiple parts, like basically. Okay, and also regarding the models, here you can see a list of models that are available. Models here. So here, yeah, is a list of models that you can use. You can read more about them. There are more general models that will answer you more general questions, or there are more fine-tuned for a specific need. For example, the Codex model is specifically trained and fine-tuned to understand, generate code. So everything that we ask about the code is executed by the Codex. There is also content filter that is fine-tuned to detect whether text may be sensitive or unsafe. This is very great way for automated moderation if you are building an application where your users can generate content. So yeah, like from the GPT-3 family, there is the DaVinci 003. And I do not know why in our starter project we are using the 002. So let's go ahead and choose the model Text DaVinci 003 to use the latest version. And yeah, everything should be working as it was working before. Yes. Also, this one gives some price ranges as well, as you can see. Even though the ideas are kind of the same, no, the ideas are also different. But as we can see here, it also includes price range, which is great. All right, so what we have done so far, we have created the API endpoint that is executed on our server side that will receive as a parameters some options about a person. It will do the connection with the OpenAI, API, and it will get a list of gift recommendations based on those parameters and will return it back through JSON. So having this API endpoint, now we are free to use it anywhere. The first place we're going to use it is inside our web application. In a similar way as we have this name generator with a form, we will build another form for the Christmas gift generator. Later in the video, we're also going to build a mobile side application that will connect to the same API endpoint that we just created, the generate gifts idea, and will generate, will also provide like these functionalities. Why I always mention that this is executed on the server side is because from our client side, from our, for example, web application, we should not connect directly to OpenAPI, because by doing that, you will expose your API key. And exposing API key is not safe, and anyone can take it and abuse it. And yeah, this is not a safe thing to do. That's why we have to keep all the API communication on the server side. And because Next.js is so awesome that it provides us both like a server side and a client side, it's great for specifically this use case. All right, so as I was saying, the next step for us, let me quickly add everything. Generate gift ideas API endpoint. Okay, perfect. As I was saying, the next step for us is to create the web UI for our GIF generator. For that, we can either update our homepage, pages index, that at the moment is responsible for rendering like information about my pet, or what we can do is we can simply create a new page by simply duplicating the index.js. Let me copy paste it, and we can call it gifts. Gifts.js. At the moment, it has like also the same code because we duplicated it. But let me go ahead and, for example, where we see name my pet, let's go ahead and replace it with Christmas gift generator. So, and also we will not need this icon anymore. Okay, with this, we can go back to our browser. And if we refresh, the homepage will still be name my pet, just because the index file is still that one. But now if we go to /gifts, because that's how we named our file, we see Christmas gift generator. So it depends on you how you can, if you want to leave gifts as a separate page and the pet generator as the index. I think in my case, I'm gonna replace the index with the pets. Then we're gonna also have gifts, pets, and I'm gonna add simply a index.js file that will what? It will import gifts from gifts, and it will simply export it back. Export default, just to make it as a home page. Now, gifts, if I refresh, it still works. The home page is our Christmas gift generator. And if we go to pets, that will be our name a pet. Okay, this is not the most important part of this tutorial. So don't complicate yourself. You can, instead of, if this is confusing like with all of these files, simply continue working in the index.js file, because now we are going to work based on that file, and we will just adjust it to our needs. So now I am in the gifts.js. We have a form with one single input. The thing is that we will, instead of having one single input, we're going to have 5 inputs for the price, age, gender, and hobbies. So let's go ahead and start by defining the state variables. I'm going to delete the inputs from here. I'm going to delete the animal input from here. And I'm going to start by defining the gender, set gender equal use state. Initially, you can initialize it with one gender. Let's go like this. Then we have age, set age. Again, you can define like a default age so that we don't have to provide it every time. Let me do it like this and copy paste, because we will have more. So after the age, we have price min, and then price, and then set price min. The minimum price, let's default it with 25. The same way for price max, and set price max. I'm gonna give, I don't know, 100. And what else? Hobbies. Hobbies and set hobbies. Let's initialize it with an empty string. And that's it. We don't need, these are our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parameters. Okay, so inside our form, we have one input for that was used for the providing the animal that you want to type. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and if we open our page generator here, let me actually, I don't need page generator, I need the animal input, yeah, this one. And I'm gonna make it smaller so we can always see it on the screen. I'm gonna put it here. Something like this. So animal input here, yeah, we deleted it. So let's go ahead and start with the age. So value age, on change is going to be set age, but because this is the value is a string, but we need to save age as a number, we're going to use the number dot parse and then parse int, and then we're going to provide the value that the user wrote in the input. I'm going to import React just to make sure that I don't see that red underlines, even though React is not necessary. Like you are not required now to import it. So what do we have here? In the on submit, I'm going to comment out everything just because we will get there. So now if I refresh, I see 30 here. The problem is that at the moment, I don't see like what I should provide here. So here is the age. For that, I'm going to provide a label. Come on, label age. Like this, we have a label, we have an input. For the name, it's age, placeholder, enter the age. Yeah, that's it, right? We can also provide like, yeah, the type is not a text, the type is a number. And this will make sure that we have like this up and down thing. All right, look, we're gonna have to do the same for every other single input. However, let's not focus on this because this is quite time consuming. Let's go ahead and take the other inputs from our quick guide here. Okay, like this. So if we scroll down in our guide, we see the web UI. And let's go ahead until we see the form. So let's go ahead and copy the whole form with the age, price to, and so on, until we close the form and before loading. Let's do just that now. Okay, I'm going to copy. I'm going to come back in our gifts.js. And here as well, let's select the form, delete it, and simply paste the form with the rest of the fields. Now what we should see in the web page is this Christmas gift generator with all the fields that we have. It's good, but the styles are a bit off. For example, for the hobbies, everything is okay, but for the price and for the selector, it's a bit different. So let's go ahead and see in the index module.css. Here we will have to adjust a bit. For example, let's see where we are styling the hobbies input. We do that inside this main input type text, which means that all of these styles are only applied to the input of the type text. The thing is that we also have inputs of type number, so let's add that as a new line here with a comma, main input number. And now our number inputs will also have the same styles. And also let's go ahead and add the same styles for our selector, the select component on top here, to also have the same padding and be the same style as others. So yeah, this is our form at the moment. What else? Let me see if we have everything here for. I think I reduced a bit the margin bottom to 12 pixels, and I added some margin top for this input in order to have some space with the label. This space is smaller than the bottom one, so 4 is just enough. Perfect. Okay, so our user interface of a form is done. We can adjust like the price, we can adjust the name and so on. And when we are done, we can go ahead and press generate gifts. This will trigger the onSubmit function that we have here. Let's uncomment the code from here and see how we can adjust this function from working with the animal generator, pet name generator, to our Christmas gift generator. So starting from the top, the first line is prevent default, and that means that we are preventing the browser to refresh. Basically, we're preventing the browser to do the default action of submitting a form, because we are going to handle the submission ourselves down below. That's our prevent default. Then what we're doing is we are querying our API. Now we do not need to generate pet names, but we want to generate gifts. So make sure to adjust the endpoint that we want to query. In this case is gifts, because our file name is called generategifts.js inside API folder. Generategifts.js. Yeah, we don't. Here we just have generate gifts. Come on, Vadim, come on. Okay. The headers will remain the same because we are working with JSON, but the body will be a bit different, because instead of sending the animal input, if we look in our generate gifts, from request.body, we are expecting all of these fields: price mean, price maximum, gender, age, hobbies. I'm actually going to copy them from here. I'm going to go back to gifts.js. And inside this object, instead of an animal, I'm going to paste all of this: price mean, price max, gender, age, and hobbies. And because our state variables of these fields are matching the name, yeah, it will work. Because even names are different, we need to provide the key name price mean and the, for example, price here, or price mean. In our case, the name and the value is the same. That's why we are deleting one of them. Okay, so we get the response by calling the API endpoint generate gifts, sending all the data, we're getting the response, and then setting it in state as a result. And we do not need to reset the input, any input. Okay. Let's actually try this. So result is being displayed here on the bottom. Let's press generate gift ideas. Will it work? I'm gonna open the terminal just to see if we have any. Yes, it worked. So right away we see high-end Bluetooth headphones, because yeah, with these parameters, these are the ideas. Awesome. So we see that we implemented all of this form, we submitted the data to the backend, and we got back some gift ideas. Amazing. What I want to do now is to manage the loading screen. The loading, whenever we press generate gifts, there is a moment when we are waiting for the response. But the problem is that on the screen, we are not giving any any feedback, visual feedback to the user that something is happening. So in order to properly manage the loading indication, let's go ahead and create a new state variable called loading, and then set loading here. Use state. Initially, the loading will be false. Now, inside this onSubmit function, the loading is also helpful to prevent sending multiple requests, because now if we press multiple times on this button, we're gonna send multiple requests to the API, and our API key can be deactivated or put on hold. So in this case, we're gonna check if we are loading at the moment, then don't send another request. Just wait for the previous request to come back. However, if it's not loading and we go here, let's set loading to true to indicate that we started the request. And at the end, we need to set loading to false. The thing is that by fetching this API endpoint, because this is a network call, not always it will be executed successfully. Sometimes it can throw an error. Maybe the user will not have internet connectivity. So usually network requests are advised to be put in a try-catch block. So let's define the try-catch block like this. And what we will put in the try part, we're gonna put the fetching and setting the result like this. In the catch, I'm going to use the alert from React Native. Oh, it's not very, we are coding a mobile, we are coding web application, so there is no alert here. I think there is alert like this. Alert failed to generate gift ideas. Try later. And we can also provide the message, but it's not important. And yeah, set loading can be here, or also potentially it can be in the finally block, which will be executed at the end of this try catch thing. Set loading to false. Okay. In our application, we if we go to the guide, we are also rendering like a image, like a loading image whenever the loading is happening. So let's go ahead and copy this part from here and put it on top of our result, before the result here. So if loading is true, let's go ahead and display a title looking for the best gift ideas, and also an image with a loading spinner. I have prepared this loading spinner for you. So in the asset bundle that you just downloaded, at the beginning of this video, by following this form, downloading the asset bundle, you should have received the assets. Give me just 1 second to also find them for myself. Asset bundle. So here should be the asset bundle. And we have images and we have loading.gif. Let's go ahead and put it in the public folder. Public folder here. And back in our gifs.js, make sure to update here from loading.webp to loading.gif. Now, let's go ahead and send another request and see what we have. Looking for the best gifts, we see this loading indicator, and then we see the result. Awesome, amazing. So the loading indicator is working properly. We can also potentially hide the form when it's loading if you want. That's also possible, but I will leave that on your based on your choices. Last thing that I want to show you how we can do is, for example, here the result, as we can see, like all like number 1, number 2, and number 3, they're all kind of merged together. However, when querying through the API, what we see is that before, like for example, number 2, there is 2/n/n, and the /n stands for the new line. So there is new lines, but they are not properly handled on our side. So my idea, like a simple fix that would be, is whenever we are setting the result, let's go ahead and replace all the /n, slash or backslash, I don't know, this one. Let's replace it with the break HTML tag, and it's still not gonna work. Looking for the best gift, because whenever we do that, it will simply show the BR, like the breaks here, as text. Because the way React.js renders, it first of all transforms everything to string. An alternative to this is going to be to use a property on this div after the class name called dangerously set inner HTML, and provide there an object with HTML code that is going to be our result. Now we do not need to render the text directly there, and we can self-close this div tag like this. And this complains because result may be empty, so we're going to render this conditionally only when the result exists. Is not assignable. Oh, it should be __ HTML like this. And now with this, if we press generate gift ideas, looking for best gift ideas, and we see the ideas rendered properly with new lines because we set them directly as HTML with break tags. Awesome. So I think I had also, we can adjust the style of our loading indicator not to be like full size by providing here in the index.module.css somewhere at .main and then .loading, and the width, provide like the width that you want. I'm gonna give it 50 pixels. Why 50 pixels? I did 50, thinking about React Native, but here we need to specify pixels. So probably 200 pixels will be okay. And it should be in the middle, but yeah, don't worry. I don't know, 50 was working okay, so I'm gonna leave it 50. Awesome. So guys, what do we have so far? So far, we got started with OpenAI, with the API from OpenAI, and we have used their models to generate gift ideas. We have created our API endpoint that is working with some parameters and is creating or like suggesting Christmas ideas. And then based on this API function, we went ahead and implemented a web page using Next.js that displays a form for all of these parameters. And whenever we submit the form, it will do the API call to our API endpoint. And after it finds the gift ideas, it will show them in a list down below. And with that being said, our web application is finished. So what we have to do now is I'm gonna go ahead and commit everything. Git add, git commit. That's for us gift Christmas gift generator. But don't leave, because we also have a mobile application. However, before going ahead and started working on the mobile application, I also wanted to show you how easy you can go ahead and deploy this application so it's going to be accessible from anywhere in the world. That will be useful for us because this Next.js application is also responsible for our API. And having this API hosted, we will be able to work on the React Native side application without having to run our Next.js app. However, this step that I'm going to show you of deploying the application is optional, and you will be able to follow along and continue with a React Native application even without deploying our backend, simply working with a development environment. I'm going to show you like the only difference will be the URL that you're going to connect to, and I'm going to show you how you can do that when we get there. However, if you're interested to see how we can easily publish and deploy our Next.js application, there are a couple of steps. First step is to create our GitHub repository. So let's go ahead and sign in on GitHub and create a new repository. I'm going to create it here. For the repository name is going to be Christmas gifts. Or let's go Chat GPT example. Chat GPT, come on. Christmas gift ideas. Christmas gift ideas will be good. For generating Christmas gift ideas. You can set it as private or as public. I'm gonna go with public, and let's go ahead and press create repository. Now from your project, make sure that you committed everything. So go ahead and do git add dot and git commit with a commit message to commit your changes. And now the next step is going to be to connect our local repository with this one that we just created. So for that, what we have to do is to copy our Git URL from here, go back to your project, and let's go ahead and replace clear. Let's go ahead and replace the remote URL of this repository. For that, we're going to do git remote set URL. Then for the origin, we're going to paste the URL that we just copied. I'm going to do enter. And now what we can do is we can do git push. No, before that, we also need to make sure to switch to the main branch by writing git branch -m main. And now let's go ahead and do git push origin main. This will take our project from here and will push to GitHub. After that is done, we can go back to our GitHub. If we refresh, then we will see our code here. Okay, that was the first step. Now on the deploying side, let's go ahead on vercel.com. And if you don't have an account, you can sign up using your GitHub account. And after that, let's go ahead and create a new project. Here we will be able to import from Git repository, and initially you will not see any repository because we need to give permission to Next.js to access our projects. So in my case, I'm going to press adjust GitHub app permissions. In your case, you might have to simply give Vercel GitHub access. So let me go ahead and sign in. 1 second. Come on, come on, come on. Where are you? And after you sign in, on the next page, this is what you should see. If you scroll down a bit, you will see Vercel with everything, with all the permission it needs. And you can either give access to all the repositories or only to the selected repositories. So for me, that's gonna be Christmas gift ideas. I'm gonna add it here and I'm gonna press save. Okay, now I'm being redirected. And here we see Christmas gift ideas. Let's press on the import. And on this page, I'm using GitHub organization. Why is that? I don't know. Wait a second. I think if you do not have an organization, in that case, you will not need this. Let me find my... so your organization. It's a bit weird because the previous one I didn't need a prop plan. Maybe because I have too many applications already. That might be true. Or no, yeah, everything is okay. So let's press on the import. Yeah, I just had to select the theme from here from up top. I'm gonna go with, this is what you should also see, configuring the project. So the project name, framework, let's leave everything by default. What we are interested in is adding the environment variable that we have for our application. And the environment variable, we are going to take it from env, the .env. The name is OpenAPI key that you should copy from here. And the value is the actual API key of your application. So let's paste them here. Let's press add. And when we see the API key here, we can press deploy. Now, Vercel will go ahead, will pull all the changes from our Git repository, and then we'll deploy and make our Next.js application available worldwide, basically by anyone. And yeah, that's basically everything you have to do to deploy with Vercel. So as you can see, it's already done, and it took how many? 20 seconds? So we can continue to the dashboard, and from here you can press on the URL that was generated for you, and this will open the application. By the way, you can also access it at the moment if you want. So yeah, this is the Christmas gift generator. I can press generate gifts, and here we have it, the list of gifts. And what's cool about this is that now I can go ahead and most probably, close the Next.js server, and we can use this URL to query our API. In our guide, so deploying to Vercel, yeah. So That's it with our web application. Yes, in 1 hour we have managed to build the web application and also the API, as well as deploying it and making it accessible by anyone. What we're gonna do in the next step is to use the same API that we have built now and create a React Native application for our Christmas gift generator. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right away into doing that. You can take a small break, pour yourself some coffee or tea, and then continue. But yeah, like we have probably 1 more hour for the mobile side application to set everything up and to explain how everything is connected. And at the end, I'm gonna give you some project ideas that you can take and implement using Chat GPT to create maybe a startup or a new project or to experiment with it. So stay tuned till the end. And now let's go ahead and start working on our mobile application. So again, we have a guide, just continue with the guide there. But yeah, I'm gonna walk you step by step. So I'm gonna open a terminal. I'm gonna start from there because we need to initialize a new React Native application. So I'm gonna go first into our directory here. And besides OpenAI Quick Start, besides the not inside the project that we have created previously for the web, but as a separate folder, I'm gonna go ahead and run npx create expo app Christmas gifts mobile. Let's execute this command, and this will initialize our expo application, and then we can get started and design it and implement everything. The URL, please. So do you want to test it out and see how it works? Let's go. I'm gonna give you the URL. 1 moment. So here it is. Please don't spam it at the moment. It will be quite sad to have to stop something now while I'm teaching you. Tokash, in order to help you with that issue, I would probably need more details about the problem because, yeah, like, unfortunately, I'm not a wizard and I do not know like what might be the problem. You can reach out to me on Discord and I will try to help you. React Native will be used for building the mobile application later in the video. Yes, thank you very much for what was the question there. I was just a bit curious if the APIs are free. The APIs are not free. I'm going to talk about the pricing at the end. They are not free, but they offer you, I think, $18 in free credits. So it's enough to experiment and play with them. Is that a beginner tutorial? This is a tutorial for people that are getting started with ChatGPT. So I'm trying to do it step by step to make sure that you understand like how to interact and work with it. Why did I mention React Native in this title? Yeah, because now we are going to work on our React Native application. So until now, we built the web application using Next.js, but it's also good to know how we can use the same ChatGPT inside our React Native application. And because we have so many React Native developers on this channel in our community, I decided that you're going to find it useful. So we got started with Expo. We initialize our project. Let's go ahead and open it with Visual Studio Code. It's here. And let's go ahead and open a terminal and start our server by running npm start. This will start our Metro server, from where we can either run our application on Android by pressing A, or running it on iOS by pressing I, or if you do not have emulators on your machine, you can use your physical device using the Expo Go application that you can find on markets. Just simply scan this QR code and you will have your application running on the device. In my case, I'm gonna press I to run it on iOS, but the application will work both on Android and iOS. In the price section, it is nice to set the currency in the label to inform the users. Yeah, thank you for the recommendation. We're gonna do that for the mobile application. So here is our application. So while our Expo application is being loaded, if you don't have a lot of experience with React Native and Expo, I'm gonna give you very shortly an introduction. So what we will have to work with is the app.js file. This is the entry point of our application and where everything starts. In my case, I'm gonna go ahead and also import React, even though it's not needed. My Visual Studio Code complains now. And what do we see here on the right is the application. So we are rendering a text component similar to a H1 or H2 or even a P in web development. And yeah, this text, we see it here on the right. If we update the text, hello world, it will automatically update on our emulator, so we have like hot reloading and we can build and see what's happening there. In the assets, let's go ahead and drag the loading image from our asset bundle that we will need a bit later. So from images, loading, let's drag it to the assets. Perfect. Now, as I said, like app.js is the entry point file, but for this simple application, we're gonna do everything here. So what will we have to render here? On this page, we need to render a similar form with a form that we have on the web, basically asking the same questions and then having a button, and after that showing the result. So because our web application is written in using Next.js, and Next.js is using React.js, we are able to reuse some code from that application in our React Native application, and that's the benefit of working with React.js on the web and with React Native for the mobile platform. So I'm going to open in a new window our web application that we just created. It's here. And from the gift.js, I'm going to go ahead and grab all the state variables from here, because basically we will need the same in our React Native application. And in React Native, we also use the useState hook that we import from React here. Okay, so now we have all the state similar to how we have it in the web. The next step, let's go ahead and see how we can render an input here. If you're more experienced, you can skip through this process, but if you're just getting started, like let me quickly show you how we can render inputs. So as you remember from the web, we had a label. So for the label, we're going to use a text component for the label. So for example, we can say text is age. And for the input, we will use a component called text input from React Native. Let's go ahead and render it here. Text input like this. And we will provide like a placeholder, for example, age. And we will see age here right away. We can also specify like what type of keyboard. So keyboard type for the age will be number or numeric. And we also can specify the value. So the value of our age is going to come from the state variable age. So value age. But this should be transformed to string because our age is a number. So age to string. Now we see 30 there. But if we try to change, nothing happens because we also have to provide the onChange text. OnChange text, what should happen? Well, we will get the text and we should update the age, set age with the text. But because the text is a string, we need to use number.parse, parse int, to transform from a text to an integer and set it in the state. Now, if I'm gonna update the number here to 31, it's being updated correctly. Lastly, we should provide some styles. So for the label, I'm going to provide styles.label, label. And for the, wait a second, what's happening here? Text. So styles.label. And for the input, it's going to be styles.input. Now we can go ahead and style this. So for the input, we're going to have some styles, and for the label as well. The label is pretty simple. What I want to do is I want to simply increase a bit the font size to 16 and also decrease the color not to take to take so much attention. So for the color, I'm going to set it to gray. Perfect. Now for the input, I'm also going to increase the font size to have like a little bit bigger text. 16 is okay. We can even go to 18 probably. Now we're going to work with borders. So border color is some kind of a gray. So that's going to be 35, 37, 40. 40, no, come on, what? Yeah, something like that. And let's provide border width 1 to see it on the screen. All right, we see it, but it's like the input is very small there. We can go ahead and add some padding inside the input, padding 16. We can also on the padding side, similarly with web, we're going to add more padding to the bottom, not more margin to the bottom. So for the top, we're going to have 6 and margin bottom, we're going to have 12 pixels. And to make the corners round, we're going to do border radius 5 or 4. Okay, now in order to make sure that our input is full width of a screen, for our container, I'm going to delete the align items center like this, and I'm going to simply add like some padding 10 there. Do we need justify content center? I don't know. Let's leave it. Okay, so here we have one input. And the same way, come on. Not a number. We need to refresh. If we delete it, it goes to not a number. That's because here number parse int text. If it's empty, I'm gonna do or 0. Yeah, it's a weird bug. It's gonna put to 0 and then we can change it back. Yes, at least it works a bit better. All right, so now that we saw how we can render a text input, I'm not gonna waste your time to render all of them. So let's go ahead from the guide. Let's get all the text inputs. Here we have them for the age, for the price, and for the hobbies. Let's go ahead in our app.js and delete this and paste all the inputs that we need. So we have age, we have price, and we have hobbies. The last step is the drop down to select the gender of a person. We could use a third-party library for a picker, or we can simply try to render it ourselves. So for example, I'm going to copy this text at the top, and our gender will be, the label for the gender will be for who is the gift. Now, using two text components inside one view, we can create these selectors. One of them will be man and one of them will be woman. Let's go ahead and give some styles. For example, for this view, it's gonna be styles.selector container, and for this one will be styles.selector, and the same selector, and the same thing for the second text. So we see them there, but it's not exactly how we want it to look. So I'm gonna go ahead and provide the styles for our selector. You can get them from the guide. And the only thing that we did is for the view that they are inside, we made sure that the flex direction is row in order to render them side by side. And then for the selector, we set the background color, the flex one, and so on to make it look better like this. Now that we are rendering them properly, we need to make sure that they are selectable, and also we need to make sure that they will render with a different color when they are selected. So to render with a different style when a condition is met, we are going to use for the text selector here, we're going to use an array of styles. And for the second one, we are going to add the style only if the gender that is currently selected is man. Then we're gonna change the background color to a green like this. So now we see that the man is selected. Let's do the same for the second selector. So I'm gonna add the array of styles here. And the condition should be if the gender is woman, then the background should be green. Lastly, we need to change the value of a selected gender when we press on these selectors. The text component has a onPress event. So we can simply do set gender here to man, and the same thing to the second text box to change it, to the second text box here, only we will change it to woman. Now if I press on woman, it changes like this. Awesome, so that's how you can build a custom selector without using any third-party libraries. When we look at the web page, the only thing from the form that we still have to add is probably the generate gift ideas button. So for the button, let's go ahead. Yeah, like here is our app.js. And let's scroll down until we reach basically the status bar. And before the status bar, after our last text input, what we're gonna have is our button. So here we're gonna have submit button. For that, we're gonna use a pressable component, which is a very basic component provided by React Native that offers us possibility to handle on-press events, and the on-press will call a function on submit. We don't have it yet, but we will define it shortly. But inside the pressable, we need to render some text, and the text will be generate, how is it called? Generate gift ideas. So let's define this on submit function before we return. So const on submit equal async function, and now we can simply console warn submitting. So we see the text generate gift ideas, even though it's not styled, but if we press on it, we see them warning submitting, which means that our function is correctly called. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the styles from our guide that are related to our button with like background color and so on. And let's go ahead and send these styles to our pressable first, style dot button, and here is gonna be button text. Perfect. The problem is that our button pushed the form all the way up because we set margin top auto to the button in order to make it float to the end. But as I said, it pushed the form up, and now the top of the form is behind the notch and behind the time and so on. To fix that issue, we can use a safe area view component from React Native and just simply replacing the top view with a safe area view, and make sure you also replace it at the end. Now the form is rendered in the safe area and is not rendered behind the notch. Safe area view. Actually, I'm gonna do Ctrl Z and I'm gonna leave a view here. I'm gonna simply put the safe area view on top, just because the styles there are not applied correctly. So now what we have is, firstly, we have a safe area view. Flex 1. Yes, flex 1. So we have safe area view with flex 1, and then we have our page with the container. All right. All right, so now that we have all the form fields that we need, we have them rendered on the screen. It's time to work on the onSubmit function and basically call our API. If you remember, like our API endpoint is available on our deployed application, then .api.generate, not dot, but slash, our API endpoint, API generate /gifts. So from our React Native application, we need to call this URL, christmasgiftideas.vercel.app/API generate gifts. This time, we're also gonna take advantage of having our applications built with React and React Native. And why I say that is that I'm gonna go back to our web application and I'm gonna check the onSubmit function here. The thing is that our onSubmit function will work approximately the same across platforms, both on web and on React Native. So let's go ahead and copy everything from onSubmit from the web in our onSubmit application in the app.js in our React Native application. I'm gonna paste everything here, and as we can see, like, we do not have an event prevent default, so simply delete it from here. Now, if loading logic will remain the same, querying logic will remain the same, because in React Native we also have access to the fetch API, and we're gonna do basically the same fetch request. The thing is that from our web application, we are fetching using a relative path. We are not specifying what domain we want to query, we only specify what path we want to query. And when you do this, fetch will automatically query the current domain. So if our web page is on this domain, then querying a relative path will simply add it to that domain. From our mobile application, we need to have and to store somewhere our API URL. So API URL, let's store it in a global variable, is going to be equal to our Vercel URL, the URL of our application. Let's put it here. And also at the end /API. This is very important. Our API URL, not our website URL. Okay, now that we have define our API URL here, we can use it here in the fetch. So I'm gonna replace this string with a template string in order to be able to replace this part with the API URL part. So now we're gonna have this string, then / then generate gifts. I'm gonna see if this works, and then I'm gonna explain how you can do the same if you didn't deploy it to Vercel using a local URL. But I can do it right now. So if you're developing locally, all you have to do is you'll use the localhost, the port /API like this. If connecting to local API. But in this case, your Next.js application here should be running. So make sure you have npm run dev on the Next.js application, and after that you'll be able to connect directly here. We're gonna test in a moment both ways. Now let's see the rest of the onSubmit functions. So we updated the API URL, the data. Now set result, we do not need the break element, so let's remove this from here. Instead of calling alert, in React Native we have the alert class like this, and it works in a similar way. It will show an alert on the screen. Alert, fail to generate gift ideas, try later. Finally, set loading to false. Perfect, let's give it a try. But what I want to do is, let's go ahead and console log result, just to see what is the result. So here in the terminal, let's go ahead and press generate gift ideas. Initially it's undefined the results, but after some time we get the gift ideas for these parameters. And if you do not have the API deployed, let's test the local API, localhost here. So if I'm going to do Ctrl+C here, I'm going to have look how I'm going to show you. I don't know how to show properly. Terminal, come on. So here on the right, we have the terminal of our web application, which includes the API. And here on the left, we should have our mobile, the terminal for our mobile application. So now if I'm going to reload the application, and if I'm going to press generate gift ideas, we see that the web API received the request, and we see that our mobile application received the answer, which means that it correctly connects with the local API as well. So yeah, I'm going to continue probably with local API. That's okay with me. And instead of doing console log result, what we're going to do? First of all, let's go ahead and handle the loading state whenever the application is loading. So for that, I will have an if statement here. You can find it in the guide as well. So if loading, let's simply render an image that will show the loading indicator. Make sure to import the image from React Native, and also the loading GIF. We will import loading GIF from assets / loading.gif. Now we needed some styles for the title, loading container, and loading. So for loading container and loading, I'm going to go into the styles. You will find these styles in the guide. So it's simply a line item center, justify, flex, and some padding. And for the title, I don't remember what styles I had, but probably some font size 22 and font weight bold probably. So now if I press generate gift ideas, now we see looking for best gift ideas and the image, the loading indicator that we had. And after that, we are back to this form. What we are interested is if we have some result, if we receive the result, instead of showing the form, let's show the result. So for that, yeah, let's grab from the guide. Where is it? Here. After we receive a response from the API, we should render it on the screen. So what do we do is after the if loading statement, let's paste the code that we just copied. If result, what happened here? Result. Let's initialize the result with an empty string like this. So if we have a result, then simply render a title like here are some great Christmas gifts. The title, the text for the result, and a pressable for try again. So let's give it a try and see. Generate gift ideas, looking for best gift ideas. Then here we have it. So container. I think I'm gonna go probably the same way. Or yeah, like I'm gonna take a shortcut in the container. Instead of padding, I'm gonna replace it with margin. Yeah, something like this. And then I can press try again. Then back to this form. And from here, we can play around. For example, if you have to give a gift to your nephew, let's set age 14. Let's set price. Probably $50 is enough. And hobbies, I don't know, cars, bike, and Lego. Generate gift ideas. Let's see if it will be accurate. Remote control race car, $25. Lego Technic race bike building kit, This one, as you can see, it's a combination of Lego and also bike. So as you can see, it not just takes them separately, but it looks how he can combine all of them. Remote control drone, $50. Yeah, this remote control drone is perfect for a tech-savvy 14-year-old. It has a range of up to 550 and so on. Awesome, and I think it's very, very accurate. All right, so I think that's everything that I wanted to show you for our application. Now we have a fully working both web application and a mobile application. Amazing, perfect, love it. And we have done all of this in 2 hours. So, what do you think about the application so far, guys? Do you have any questions? I had a blast. It was such a great experience for me to play with ChatGPT, and I think that this is not going to be the end of me playing with it. Have a lot of other ideas. And if you're interested in other projects, and if you have some interesting ideas and you want to know how you can implement them, let me know down in the comments below, and I'm gonna try to do them. Now it's time for Q&A, so if you have some questions, drop them down in the chat, and while we are still here, I can explain some of these concepts once again, if there is some stuff that is still confusing. And finally, as I promised, at the end, I want to give you a couple of project ideas. First of all, I want to give you some ideas on how you can improve the application that we have just built. So the first way you can improve the application is by adding more parameters to the query. So at the moment we have a couple of parameters, 5 of them, but you can adjust this query with as many or as little parameters as possible. What I have in mind is like a step-by-step form, which will not show like everything directly, but a form that will be a more visual way of building a personality. It will ask, like starting with like gender, age, and so on, demographic questions. Then it can get into like hobbies. Maybe instead of writing the hobbies manually here, go ahead and add a list of hobbies that the person can simply select. And maybe an option to add extra. Maybe add like the who is the person for you. For example, a gift for a girlfriend is very different than a gift for your mother. So that can be another parameter of your gift generator. Another idea that I had is to pair it with an image search API, for example, Unsplash, and provide images for every idea. Having the ideas as a text form is useful, is great, but whenever we have something visual, something to see, that improves the usability of our application by far. So go ahead and, based on all of these ideas, try to search automatically using an image API for an image of that thing. What you can do is first maybe also use ChatGPT to extract the keywords. I haven't tried that, but I'm pretty interested. For example, if I go to openai.com, can you extract keywords from Sure, here are some potential keywords that could be extracted from the provided sentence. Cocktail making kit, that's one keyword. How should I search on Amazon to find, and let's put the answer that it gave previously. If you're looking to search for cocktail making kit on Amazon, you could try using the following search term: cocktail making kit, mixology, and so on. So right away, using using ChatGPT, you can generate ideas. Then also using ChatGPT, you can extract like search terms. Then using these search terms, you can use some kind of an API to get images and to display them in your application. Or even better is to use some kind of e-commerce API to provide directly the products where people can buy them with a click of a button. I think this is a great business idea, and you can steal it from me because I don't think I'm gonna do it. But you can do this project, and under every idea that you recommend here, show a Amazon URL with your affiliate link. Then, if you have like thousands of users during this Christmas season using your tool to find or generate gift ideas, they can go ahead and buy them directly from your website by clicking on a link. I mean, buy from Amazon by clicking on a link, and you will receive a small percentage of that sale as an affiliate sale. So that's I think, in my opinion, a great idea. And your job is to promote this idea generator as much as you can, and also to make sure that you get like enough commissions to cover like the API cost, for example. What other thing? Like, you can make it generic, not only for Christmas. Maybe you can have like a selector or one of the parameters to be what is the reason of a gift. Like, is it a Christmas or a birthday gift? You can do that and have it as a general gift idea generator. You can make features to save ideas. If you like them, you can save them and then you can review it as a user. Recommending links where you can buy these gifts. We discussed about that. And yeah, this can be used as a business model using affiliate links to buy these ideas. So these are some ideas on how you can improve and take this project from here, add features and experiment more, get your hands dirty and do it yourself, because that's gonna take you to the next level of understanding of how everything is connected together. Now, on the other note, I also wanted to show you some other ideas that I was thinking about. I will start with a very general or a very generic chatbot, but there are so many types of chatbots. So ChatGPT is a very general and generic model that you can use to create some more specific chatbots. For example, you can add a chatbot in your application that will help user navigate the application or will help him solve some issues. Another idea could be to create an application for translating languages. ChatGPT is very good at translating natural language, so you can use it for translation services. You can use it to generate any kind of copy, like advertisement copy, marketing copy, sales letters. You can use it for any kind of idea generation or brainstorming, which when we were thinking about AI a couple of years ago, maybe 5 years ago, we were saying like, yeah, it can replace a lot of things, it can do a lot of great stuff, but when it comes like to creativity and making something new, like AI is not very good at that. But ChatGPT showed us that the real power of these models and how they can even be creative and generate ideas out of everything that they have learned. So you can ask him for business plans. You can ask him for business names, taglines, website copy, content, to generate content. There is so many things that you can ask him. Like, for example, suggest a tagline for notjust.dev, which is a company helping beginner developers build full stack application and changing the world through code. I don't know. I just put some not random text, but I described the use case. And here are some potential taglines. Code your way to making a difference. Empowering beginners to change the world through code. Full stack development made simple with notjust.dev. Wow. That's amazing. Like, just take it and put it on your website. You can ask him to brainstorm ideas. Brainstorm video ideas for a React Native channel. What will it do? Here are a few potential ideas. A series of tutorials that teach viewers how to build a simple React Native app from scratch. I think we have a lot of them on the channel. A video that showcases the latest features and updates in React Native framework. We're working on that, guys. We're working on that. An interview with React Native developer who shares their experience and insights on the platform. A video that compares React Native with other mobile app development frameworks, such as Flutter or Ionic. A day in the life video shows, like, come on. Like, these are such a great ideas. I don't know. I'm so excited about everything, like every time I use it. Back to the ideas, what I recommend is, if you need some other ideas, check out the example projects on beta.openai. And here you'll see a lot of types of projects that you can build, but you're not limited by these ones. You are like, here, sky's the limit. And I really want to see how you will use this tool and technology and what you can build out of it. Because with the previous models that OpenAI launched, I saw some great businesses built on top of them in a matter of weeks. For example, there is Peter Levels, the founder of Nomad List and other successful website and businesses. He has made avatar AI generator application using the daily model from OpenAI. And in the first, I think in the first week or in the first month, he was already doing more than $100,000 in monthly recurring revenue. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Like, in 1 month, he grew an application to 100K every single month. This is recurring revenue, users that will continue paying. So think about this, think about possibilities and opportunities that this can open. Don't be afraid of the new technologies. Don't be afraid to lose your job, because that's not going to happen. Like, the boring stuff is going to get automated, but our job will remain more juicy. Basically, we will cover only the most important stuff. So think outside of the box. Think about how you can use these tools to create applications that will help people, that will solve a specific problem. And as I said, like, I'm curious and I'm excited. If you build something with it, make sure to reach out to me and show it, because I'm very interested in this. Let's see what people are saying. Yeah, guys, before we leave, and no, we're gonna also go for some chat questions. But what I wanted to ask you at the moment is, please, if you enjoyed this tutorial, if you enjoyed building 2 mobile applications in 2 hours, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. It only takes you 2 seconds, and it will help us a lot to reach more developers. Thank you very much for that. And let's have a look at our chat. Didar is saying, I used DALL-E in one of my projects with translating the text the user writes from Kurdish to English and generating images. DALL-E is also from OpenAI and very powerful. Yes, that's true. Now that I've got into this one, I'm really curious, and maybe we will do something with that one as well. What is the best language translation API? Google Translate. I haven't compared like a lot of translation APIs. Probably Google Translate is a good one. But with tools like ChatGPT, you can give it a try there as well. Probably Google API is more structured, specifically for that need. But with some work, you can make a good prompt. You can design a good prompt for ChatGPT to translate for your things. ChatGPT is good for SaaS ideas, saves times, quite useful. Yes, I agree. AI can't and won't replace human job. It will replace, but with every new thing that appears, with every new invention, people will always be afraid of losing the job. And some people will lose the job because machinery replaces the factory worker, but that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing, because the machinery created different jobs for people. And also, as we advance, we are just replacing the jobs. We're replacing the jobs that can be automated in order for us to have more time to spend on the jobs that bring us joy, the jobs that involves more creativity, instead of jobs that can be automated by an AI. I hope that makes sense, what I wanted to say. My question again is, how can I hide the API key or secret key from pushing to GitHub? So let me show you. The thing is that now, if we look at the GitHub repository of our Christmas gift ideas, which is our web application, here you will not see the API key. We have only the .env example. With that is the example environment file. As you can see, we do not see the .env file. And when we look in the project, our API key is in the .env file. And because it's in .env, and also we have a git ignore that ignores the .env file, that means that this API key is not going to be exposed in the GitHub repository. As simple as that. From the React Native application, we are not using the API key because we are using the API that we have built ourselves. And also, let me talk a little bit about the pricing. Someone was asking about that. So for that, I will open some pages here. Let me see pricing. Get started. Yeah, so pricing works based on the models that you're using. So these are the pricing for image models. These are the pricing for the language models. So for example, we are using the DaVinci. The DaVinci is priced at 0.02 for every 1,000 tokens. And as I said, tokens are not words. Tokens, as you can see, you can think of tokens as pieces of words. And usually 1,000 tokens is about 750 words. So yeah, you can make the calculations yourself here. But when you start for free, as you can see, and you can experiment with $18 in free credits that can be used during the first 3 months. And after that, you just pay as you go. As well, you can compare like that. The pricing is different for different models. So you can use like other models, read about them, like what they are used for and what they are fine-tuned for. But if it works for your use case, like you can save a lot. For example, this one, as you can see, is way cheaper than the DaVinci, most powerful. And Ada is the fastest. You can also fine-tune models, basically train them for your specific use case. So it will give better answers without having to provide a lot of context in the prompt. Here. So if you fine tune it for like coding, like it's gonna be better like for that use case. All right, guys. So if there is no more questions, I think I'm gonna say goodbye for now, and we're gonna see you next Friday, because every Friday we are going live with a new project-based tutorial. So make sure to turn on the notification bell not to miss it next week. And thank you very much for staying with me till the end. I hope you learned something new today. And if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel and let us know down in the comments below what other projects are you interested in seeing us build. And that's it for today. Take care, stay hydrated, and write clean code. Bye bye, guys.